Welcome to Pep Talk on Figueroa, the only podcast breaking down everything happening with the Lakers, Clippers, Sparks, and Team USA. I am your host, Edwin Garcia. Joining me today, per usual, is Dar E.N. Viziri, aka Dime Dropper. Dime, how's it going over on the B team side over there?
Oh my God, that's how we're gonna start it. I mean, it's going pretty well with the best arena in basketball opening up.
Wow, already?
I mean, well, I love the Staples Center, but do you really think it's the best arena in basketball? Because I haven't gone to all 30.
I didn't claim it was. Definitely didn't claim like a stadium that's never hosted a basketball game as the best arena in basketball. You know,
At least it was built for the sport, which we know is the actuality of the situation.
I thought it was built for Bruno Mars concerts and stuff.
That's just the first thing
And
that's going to happen.
I was emphasized toilets and Imagine Dragons is what I recall from there.
It's going to be a cathedral of basketball. It's Ballmer's baby.
It is Ballmer's baby.
Well, no.
We'll get into Ballmer's baby and PG and Team USA and a little bit of Summer League. So it's going to be a little bit scattered here, trying to get everything done in kind of a nice flow. So why don't we start there with PG? Dime, I'm not aware of the podcast P like upload schedule, but oh my goodness, I woke up this morning and it was like, podcast P says this, podcast P says that. Obviously, he's doing his media rounds. He's also, doing conferences with the Sixers, all part of, having a new player. You want to parade him out, and they get asked questions. And in his own podcast, he doesn't really. I'll give Paul George this. He might duck smoke in real life, but in the podcast, he will talk about getting dunked on from LeBron. He talks about everything. You might not like his answer, but you can't be like, oh, he just avoided this topic. Like he'll get into it, and then we're gonna get into what he said. So basically, Dime, I'm gonna let you kind of take the lead here on this. The big news or like the headline was him calling the Clippers the B team and feeling like they're the B team when he was there. For me, Dime, it really wasn't that big of a deal because I feel like it's true, so I didn't get the big kind of fuss about it. But it caused a lot of interaction, a lot of anger from Clippers fans. It pretty much, I was like one of the few people on PG's side who was kind of like, oh yeah, like I get it. But I was like the only one. Laker fans were bashing him. Clipper fan, he was just getting bashed everywhere. So Dime, why did this quote cause such a ruckus this morning?
Well, I think it's just at this point that if there's anything that is a shot or perceived as a slight to the Clippers organization in any way said by him, he just can't win. Because the funny part is, as you said, and as you showed on your timeline today, he said that same thing about, and all players that have played for the Clippers have spoken on that you feel like second-class citizens in that regard as a professional basketball player. You go to a sporting event in LA and you'll get shown on the Jumbotron and you'll get booed just because the majority is Laker fans. And that's just the case, right? I know that. Clipper fans that live in Los Angeles know that, right?
Yeah.
The thing about it is, Paul was just supposed to be part in that clip you shared, by the way. I couldn't help but cringe when he was talking about we got a chance to do something special. We got a chance to be the first, to build. It's like, it's for that very reason that Paul George started to win so many Clipper fans over in 2021 and 2022. But now you just put all these quotes together. It's just, we're tired of hearing about this guy. And then to just say, yeah, with the B team, this and that right now with the timing of it. And Jackie Long kind of set him up for it. He was like the second team or something like that. And he said, yeah, the B team. I know he's just joking with his boys, but look, man, Paul George already stuck his foot in his mouth plenty at this point when it comes to the Clippers. And I think it would be wrong at this point for Clipper fans not to boo him. I think essentially we'd be seen as a soft fan base for not booing him. There's no player that should be able to get away with this. I mean, not the B team. The B team, look, let's just say it this way. It's not great to hear that as a fan, even if it is true from a former player. But all the other things, the false promises, the lack of effort seemingly when certain games asked more of star players and then to leave for free and not finish what he started. It's just, he deserves to get absolutely destroyed when he comes back here. And we haven't had a player like, Elton Brand and Andre Miller, I know were not received well when they came back. I didn't see the Andre Miller game when it happened. I was a little too young, but Elton Brand, I do remember that. Those games weren't even close to sold out. The Clippers were still not on anyone's radar, really. It wasn't a national story. But this, I'll bet you every single penny I own that the game between the Clippers and the Philadelphia 76ers at the Intuit Dome will be nationally televised. It would be shocking.
Ooh.
With all the nationally televised games they have these days.
That contract's not till the following season, but I think you're right. I think if you're accounting for literally anything that's considered national, which also includes NBA TV, it would be silly for them not to figure out. This seems like a great and we haven't done these predictions yet, but like first week, Clippers Sixers in the Intuit Dome. Can you imagine if they rolled it all in one? If they make that home opening night, that would be wild. But yeah, I agree with you. It'll probably be a national TV game. It's an easy way to kind of draw in some interest, even from a neutral person, right? They'll be like, "Oh, PG going back to, are they going to boo him?" Like that question. The video montage. You think they're going to make like a thanks for the memories kind of like
I think the Clipper organization is, I don't know what to put it, right? Like how to put it. From their perspective, this guy was a part of their team, a guy they saw all the time, a guy they worked with, a guy they did business with. And business reasons are the reason why he's gone. But what about the fans and how we feel? And at the end of the day, Paul George was not willing. It's not like he's the first person in the history of the game like to not take a pay cut. Like there's a bunch of guys that have taken pay cuts. You know what I mean? I understand. Go get your money. You're entitled to get your money, but you've made a lot of money, more money than a lot of people can dream of. You said it's not like you're not going to get paid a lot. Yep. I thought you were here to finish what you started and get it titled for your hometown team that you claimed, by the way, to be a fan of, which I always thought was BS. I always felt as though he was just an LA basketball fan. In my opinion, if the Clippers played the Lakers, I bet you he rooted for the Lakers because Kobe was his favorite player. But I don't think he was lying in the sense that he probably did like those knucklehead teams and he wasn't a hater by any means, being from LA. But you know how PG is. He just says what he feels can satisfy whoever he's trying to appease in that moment. And we're just tired of hearing him talk.
Yeah.
So in return, he's going to hear us. And I can't wait till that day.
Yeah, I already sent you. We'll keep the group chat out of here, but I already sent you the video. Like I'm gonna be on Dime bailout money watch for for that week. I don't know. Hopefully security. I don't know what security is like at Intuit Dome. Obviously, they probably won't have the same company the Lakers have, although they weren't running that. You know what I mean? So we'll see what the rapport there is going to be like, but it's going to be interesting. And yeah, no, I agree. I understand. It's frustration. It's hurt. I had even Clipper people in my mention just being like, we're just sick of it. Like, just shut up, dude. Like, leave it alone. And there's the classic clips of Paul George. I want to be a Pacer for life. I want to be a Thunder for life. I want to be a Clipper for life. I want to be a Sixer for life's coming soon. I'm sure their media day. So it's part of what happens. But it's also part of why I always say with any athlete, unless you really feel like you're locked in on them, take everything they say with a grain of salt. Coaches lie. Players lie, agents lie, ownership groups lie. We hear them, they lie all the time. So you just have to I always find it funny when, I'll say something like, player X is not going to be in the rotation. And they're like, but the coach said he loved them in training camp. I'm like, man, they say that all the time. Like you gotta be careful. And with PG, definitely I knew he was always kind of that kind of guy anyway, just in general, because if you remember, he had his own special, on ESPN for like, three-part series picking his place, and in it he didn't mention the Clippers once, and he said whenever I dreamed of playing basketball I was in purple and gold and the Lakers. I remember seeing him on the Santa Monica Pier, and I'm like, oh, he's definitely coming. Like he has a freaking ESPN special where he's like literally glowing about the Lakers, and the Lakers are one of the top picks, and guess what, he goes to the Clippers. So it's like, why? He wanted the show, he wanted the attention. I do think we were obviously in the running, but at the end of the day, he has an agency that it didn't look like it was possible with Rob, and that's a whole other thing. But that stuff happens. He likes the attention. He likes the drama. He's talking about, he's locked in, and now it's time to prove. It's like, dude, it's been time to prove for like your whole career. You've been in, Paul George would be interesting to talk about career-wise. I know a lot of people love him, and he's kind of like an indie choice for like your favorite player. It seems like for the current generation kind of coming up, because they think of PG like prime Pacer PG, Olympian PG, Team USA basketball guy before his injury. But in his career, there's going to be some criticism too. He had really good teams in Indiana. They went for it in Oklahoma. They definitely went for it in LA. Even now with them, he's got Embiid. He's got the Sixers, willing to do some moves there. I don't know. We'll see. I think he's definitely an incredible player, but is he top 5, top 10, top 20, top 25? And where is he when we look at this generation? It's going to be an interesting conversation. But yeah, I agree with you. I do think they'll do a video montage. I think the Clippers organization will be classy, and they'll leave it up to the fans to do that stuff. I think they're going to try to treat it like, take the high road. They're going to be like, thank you to Paul George. I think they'll do a little video during like one of the timeouts, and they'll just let the fans do what the fans do and say, hey, that was their response to it. I think they will do like a little montage. I think it'd be weird if they didn't do some kind of montage. He was there for a long time. Did the 2-1-3. He fulfilled his contract even if he left on sour terms. And, I think from the organization perspective, you take the high road and you're like, hey, I don't have to tell Dime to boo him like crazy. Like, again, Dime knows. I don't have to give him an announcement. I think Ballmer knows what's going to happen. So they'll let y'all take care of it. But, yeah.
I think they're gonna actually do a video though. I just don't know how the Clipper fans will react. I think they should boo the entire video, even though there's gonna be some great memories in there, mainly all from one season, 2021. It was magical though. I can't really emphasize enough to people that weren't here for the ride or that weren't fans before. Like, if you were a fan throughout Lob City, it definitely meant more, that conference finals, but if you were a fan even before Lob City, man, that meant a lot. But and being here, I think being here is special. When you talk to Clipper fans about that game, the Game 6, the Terrence Mann game, or just that run and being in the conference finals, I mean, it's special, some of the things people say about it. And I will always thank Paul for that. But before we go on to our next topic, I just want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Sports Spider. They have been, if you guys are tired of searching multiple websites for sports news, there's a website, Sports Spider. It'll be linked in the description, and it has you covered with the latest articles, videos, and podcasts from around the internet and organizes them by your favorite teams. So if you go to Clippers, you might see some of my videos from Dime Dropper on there, and definitely almost all my Locked On Clippers videos on there, and various articles from other writers and stuff like that. I actually saw one of Edwin's articles on there for the Lakers tab, and almost all my Laker lives and Basketball and Figueroa is there under the Lakers tab. So if you want to stay as possible on our Lakers and Clippers, or Sparks, hit the link in the description that will be in the video after this is posted to check out sportspider.com. All right, and we know the Angelino. Where are we going next?
Now we're going one more time to Vegas. I said we'd be gone, but I'm like, what? Let me just hit it up real quick. It's only 4.5 hours away. We could get there. So we hit up Summer League. Summer League is officially now done. Heat Culture took care of business and they won there, which I saw really funny seeing some people like really puffing their chest out. I'm like, relax, you've been in the play-in for a little while. Not that I can talk about the play-in too much, but you know what I mean? But they took care of business. For the Lakers, they ended it on a high note. They didn't win any games in the California Classic, and they started off losing in Las Vegas. And I know we talked about it before that these games don't matter, but it's like, okay, they don't matter, but like you are trying to win, right? Like, why are you losing every game? And also, like, our young guys, they look okay, but it's like there's no positives here. Like, what's going on? Finally, the levee broke. They started turning things around. Won a couple games. Actually won their last 3 games. And you really got, I think, my kind of general overall thoughts on Summer League was now with it being over for the Lakers' perspective, it was pretty good. You didn't win like the whole thing or anything like that or dominate, but that's fine. Again, that wasn't important. What was important was at least getting some victories, building some momentum, and Dalton Connect. I mean, fantastic. He just looks so good. Clearly looks like he's ready to go, and he might be a rotation player this year, or at least back end of the rotation. We'll see now kind of how quickly he can develop, but he looks great. I don't see anyone who watches his game and is like, oh, I'm worried about that pick. It's like at 17, I think if we redraft today, he goes the lottery like he was supposed to. So That's great. Bronny, again, up and down. I think after we saw all of it, you're like, hey, there it is, right? Like you saw the youth, you saw the defense, the offense is a little raw. Again, he's a second round pick, was fourth from the end. Kind of, he seems to me better than everyone else kind of drafted around his number. So you're like, okay, good. I'm happy with that. The negatives, Maxwell Lewis, he just didn't look like he took a jump. And I think Colin Castleton was a little disappointing. Like he had a good, strong, like final game, but overall, it just seems like he's not physical enough to kind of impose his will or not get like out rebounded or out bodied a little bit. So that's kind of more of a concern. But again, we'll kind of see how things go in with media day and training camp and all that stuff. The two-way guys looked great. Hinson was amazing in that final game. He hit like 5 3-pointers. Oliveira had a really nice moment there. He kind of got aggressive at the end, kind of getting his time. So I feel like overall, for the most part, I feel better with the players we got. The only players I'm a little lower on now is Maxwell Lewis and Colin Castleton, but I like our two-way guys. Armel looked really good from France. And like I said, I'm happy with Bronny. I think he's where I thought he'd be, maybe even a little ahead because his defense was so good. And Dalton's definitely the shining thing. And that's important because that's your number one draft pick. So we didn't use those draft picks to get anybody. So the person we get, that's always the tricky part about draft picks time. Okay, you didn't want to give him up for a player, but like, what do those players become? So far, Dalton Connect, he kind of looks like, hey, he might be worth it long term if you develop him right. And the Lakers have kind of shown a good ability to do that. For the Clippers, I'll give my quick thoughts, and then I definitely want to hear yours on both teams. But I think overall, it was a positive experience as well. You guys are kind of in the middle of a weird like situation where you got stars, but it's not enough, but you don't have youth. But I thought the guys played hard. I think they were very well coached. They obviously made it far. They made it to the semifinals, lost by 1 point. But again, that matters, but also not that much. And you got Christie. You got a couple other, I think, two-way options that might be intriguing and might even make the roster from what I saw. So tell me what your thoughts are on the Clippers Summer League and the Lakers Summer League as well.
Lakers Summer League, I didn't watch too much of it. The stuff that I'm seeing about Max, I mean, I'm not surprised, and I don't mean this the wrong way because I rooted for Max. He was a Pepperdine guy, and I always root for Pepperdine guys. But I never felt that confident that he was an NBA player when I was watching my Pepperdine. It didn't feel like we had an NBA player on the team. And it's unfortunate that it seems like that's what's being shown in the Summer League. We'll see, though. You know, I'm wishing him the best. It's good to hear that Bronny picked it up and had some solid games. That'll be great for his confidence going into training camp. But as far as the Clippers, man, I was really happy with the Summer League. I think there's no other way you can look at it besides it being a massive positive for us. We're a team that obviously doesn't have the brightest future. We don't have many draft picks in the next couple of years. So to see that, you know, the 4 guys that were drafted by the Clippers and were kind of headlining that Summer League team, Cam Christie, Max Christie's brother, Moussa Diabate, and then Kobe Brown and Jordan Miller, they got us to the semifinals, and a lot of it was our defense. Dante Jones, who everybody remembers from playing in the NBA, was our head coach for Summer League, and the defensive tenacity of our team, the ability to switch 1 through 5, which Moussa being the 5, he's so good at moving his feet on the perimeter. I think a lot of great things were shown. Jordan Miller, who was our 48th pick in the draft last year, 25 points a game in Summer League, Edwin. 25 points a game, and was the first team all Summer League. So, I mean, I'm very happy with him. He seems like a guy that could potentially challenge Amir Coffey for that backup wing spot. Looking like he can knock his 3-point shooting looked so improved from last Summer League. Yeah. And his physicality, you know, he's only listed at 6'4", 6'4.5" barefoot, but he has a 6'11" wingspan, or it says 6'11.75" wingspan at the combine, at the 2023 combine. So that's probably why he looks so much bigger than just 6'4.5" out there. But with shoes, you're probably what, 6'6"? I don't know how much of these shoes giving these guys?
I think 2 or 3 inches, something like that. Depends on obviously the kind of shoe you get, but no more than that.
He probably looks around 6'6" on the court. Amir Coffey is 6'7", though. I don't know if those are barefoot or not. You can always never tell with these measurements throughout NBA history on these websites, even Basketball Reference. But
nothing's accurate. A lot of the guys lie too.
Wasn't there a couple like somewhere in the 2010s where they said now it's accurate, we're going to measure everybody barefoot?
Yeah, they did that for like I think 2018, 2019. They found out like some interesting numbers. Like I think LeBron was taller than like he kind of was saying, and like other players were shorter.
LeBron was always listed at 6'8", even though I always said he looked like he was 6'9", and now he's listed at 6'9".
Yeah. LeBron was one of the ones that are like he is not that short, right? And again, every different, the big guys want to be small guys want to be big, and then the really small guys would just lie. Like if Allen Iverson is 6 foot, then I'm 6 foot. Like there's and same thing with who is it? Isaiah, the original Isaiah Thomas. I saw him in person. I'm like, when I saw him in person, my respect for him went like way up. That's how small he is. I was like, oh my god, like you were the leading point guard on a team that won back-to-back titles. That's no. I look like I really feel like I could take you right now. Like you do not look like. I'm not worried at all. If I saw you in the park, I'd be like, yeah, this is fine. Like that's how he looks. And he's in shape. He's not like out of shape. He looks.
I was gonna say,
like, wow, you're a human being, like a normal human being.
Dude, I was gonna say Isaiah Thomas. He's one of those basketball players that looks like not that much older than when he actually played.
Yeah, that too. So yeah, I saw him like, super close. Like he was greeting somebody. I was like literally like 2 feet away, maybe. Like I could have tapped his shoulder if I wanted to, no problem. There was no one else around. It was like media kind of stuff, and that amazed me. I'm like, so whatever he's listed at, I bet you Isaiah Thomas is like 6'0". There's no way he's that tall.
I bet he could still ball. Like if you put him in a pickup game, like I bet you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If he's in, he could probably still kill. I would love to see that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. It wouldn't be interesting. I mean, I don't think they do it because of pride, but it would be great to get like a Legends game.
They used to do that, the old timers game or something like that.
Yeah, they did. Yes. And I know like there was a charity thing Magic used to do back in the day where he kind of had like that kind of like old timers and new guys, and he kind of do like an AAU style thing in the summer. Yeah, Isaiah Thomas is listed at 6'1", 0% chance. I'll tell you right now, if you told me I'm dead if that height is accurate with or without shoes, I'm like, I feel really comfortable. No chance that he is 6'1". But yeah. So those numbers are always kind of tricky. It doesn't matter how official unless you got the ruler out. Like it's all a little bit finicky with those height measurements. But yeah, no, I agree with you on the Clippers. I think they did have a great summer. You have to take that as a positive, especially when you're as limited as you guys are with draft picks and selections, and where is any kind of youth coming from? If you hit on any of them, it's really like that's a home run. And maybe you will. Like I said, I'm a big Christie. I like both Christies. So I like that pickup as well. So I think that's going to be good. They're both like, they're very similar in a lot of different ways in their style of play and stuff. So I think that's going to be promising. All right. So we're going to kind of do like now kind of switching off. Now summer league's over. Big gap. We won't have too much Lakers Clippers news unless someone decides to jump on a podcast, which I doubt because we're about to hit the Olympics. So, this will probably be like our longest sort of break. We'll only address something if it's a big thing, like if the Lakers finally make a move or somewhere. And the Clippers. Before we end with the Clippers, we're about to go to Team USA. Before we do that, Dime. Like 2 days ago, I'm just seeing Intuit Dome. These are the empanadas. These are the tortillas. Here's this Halo board. This is Terrence Mann dunking. And I saw media people one day. The next day, I saw fans kind of there. I'm not even sure if you went or didn't go. So, but overall, just tell me what's going on because I'm kind of a little bit out of the loop. I'm not in the Clippers sphere as much as you. So, what's been going on at Intuit Dome and all this coverage is getting suddenly?
Well, the first day was media only, from what I know, and then the second day was some fans, some supporters, members, like this thing I was in last year, but not all season ticket holders were invited. Apparently, if you downloaded some app, I don't know. That's been kind of controversial, like who could attend that event. But man, Edwin, this looks like the craziest stadium. It's random, just in the corner on Avalon, across the street from that Sinopolis Theater. But there's not much going on that block. It's just there. It's just there, a little bit further down from SoFi. So I remember we used to always know like you had to know the logistics of SoFi. Behind the south end zone where the American Airlines Theater is, that's when you can see the Intuit Dome. When you go further down that way,
right?
The north end zone is overlooking the Forum. So the Intuit Dome, for those that don't know, is on the complete other side of SoFi from the Forum. You have to walk down a little bit. It's a pretty far walk, to be honest. but you can still see it. Like there was one when I was going to the roast of Tom Brady at the Forum this summer, early this summer.
Life flex.
Whoa, is it actually? It's not like for media. I was sitting in the nosebleeds, but
still, you were in the building. It was like a viral thing, Yeah, I'd say it's a life flex. It's like saying you went to a concert. Oh, I was at the whatever. It's all right. It's okay to lively flex.
So I was walking down the street and you could see the Forum, SoFi, and Intuit in one shot, and it's just like that's a lot. It's gonna be a lot for Inglewood. I do sympathize for the residents, especially if they do multiple events in one night. But man, this stadium is just going to be insane for the fans, man. It really is. Like the longer drive in terms of because the traffic on the 405 is terrible during the week like that is going to be a small price to pay compared to all the amenities that we're getting. I mean, forget the USB and all this stuff. The Halo board looks insane, the AI and all that, the toilets and the convenience of it all. But I just love the way that the first level of seats is not that far from the second level of seats. It isn't so corporate like Staples Center where there's three, and Chase even, there's three sets of suites separating the second level and the lower level. Because, I mean, man, I love the Staples Center, but I really think that the 300 section is so far from the lower bowl. It feels like it's two different arenas. Not two different arenas, but two different crowds watching the game. It's them and us. I think the cannons, the t-shirt cannons coming out of the Jumbotron, out of the Halo board to the upper level is insane. I can't wait to see the food because Staples Center's really declined in food, in my opinion. The Ludo Bird, though, is my favorite at the Staples Center. If you haven't been, checked out the Ludo Bird. It's a little overpriced, but the chicken's pretty good. But yeah, I can't wait, man. I can't wait. During preseason on my channel, I'm going to be walking around. I might have one of my boys on the team, on the Dime Dropper team, film me walking around because like you guys need to see my reaction for all this stuff for the first time preseason when it's not as hectic. But man, you think the Clippers will sell out a preseason game because this Intuit Dome or not? It's preseason still.
They might. Yeah, I think it's going to be the curiosity is going to be huge. They might just sell out a preseason game. I think that could definitely happen. I'm guessing they're going to try to aim for that as well to kind of work out the kinks for whatever might go wrong with the new stadium, whether that's like payment stuff or like the flow or how much security they need. And it's a great way to that along with the concerts they have. That's why I think they are also doing those concerts. It's like, this is a great way to kind of, make sure we can handle everything without it being, game one of the NBA season. So they got a couple concerts, Bruno's opening things up and then, preseason and then, okay, here we go. So yeah, I mean, obviously, am I a Clipper hater? I don't know. You can label me what you want, but I'm excited for y'all. It's gonna be dope. I'm not gonna be one of those guys gonna pretend, oh no, it's not cool. Clearly, it's cool. It's like buying a new car. Even if the new car you bought's like a Honda Civic, it's gonna be the nicest Civic to ever of Civic. It's gonna be state of the art, brand new everything, top of the line because it's a new car. So it's gonna always kind of be an older car just from that fact that it's new. So it's got the things that for example, Staples can never have a screen like that or never had. Like it would just be. At that point, it's like, let's just do a new stadium. Like we cannot upgrade, just like a used car. You can't upgrade it to up-to-date technology. It would be a waste of time and money. You're better off just starting over. So, yeah, I'm excited for y'all. It's going to be really dope. It's going to be really good. Everything looks good. Food looks interesting. Food looks good. Everything's going to be top of the line. And like you said, it's part of that whole separate. That's one of the reasons why the separation has to happen as well. You need your own thing, your own place. That's yours, that you built. I think that's one thing Ballmer's mentioned, right? Like the culture. It's, okay, we're kind of getting away from that little brother, big brother thing because even if it's separate, okay, well, I got my own spot and this is ours and we built it, we paid for it, we own it, we run it. It's gonna be cool. I'm not sure when I'll go. Depending on, I might actually volunteer for this unpaid internship thing with the video thing. If I'm free, then obviously I have to check the Lakers and Clippers preseason schedule. I'd be down to check it out because I'll definitely want to check it out just to see, okay, what's it like watching a game here in this new stadium and seeing how it is. I'm very curious how parking is going to be. For the Rams games, it's a disaster. It's just like very expensive, very hard. That kind of stuff is going to be an issue. Going in and out is going to be an issue. It's still kind of far from everything, depending on where you live, of course. If you live by Inglewood, then hey, you just came up. But it's the good thing about Staples and being downtown is everything's centrally located, right? It's the same problem the Galaxy have. They're in Carson, which is still LA County, but it's like it's far off unless you're on that specific side. You're looking at an hour plus drive, regardless of where you live, because it's not centrally located. when things are centrally located, we all kind of complain less because we're like, well, it's in the middle. Like, I don't know, it's in the middle. When it's anywhere else, you're just like, it's over here, it's over there. You know, it's not where I want it to be. So that is a negative. But I think that's a small price to pay for all the stuff you're getting. It's worth it to me because, like, yeah, it's not centrally located, fine, but it's also like ginormous, state of the art, you know, ours and all that stuff. And whenever the Lakers do eventually leave crypto, which I think might happen once their contract's over, they'll probably have to make a similar decision and say, hey, do we stay here or do we, you know, get something big in, you know, somewhere just on the IE or something crazy like that, right? Like stuff like that might happen. I'm not going to pretend like that's not a possibility. Especially if you want to get like a 30,000 seat stadium, 25,000, you're going to need the space for that. So, but that's way down the road. Crypto's going to be home for now, and Intuit Dome. I'm into it. We'll see what happens there. But it should be cool. I do like the Halo board, looks really dope. So it should be interesting seeing. And then also same thing. Will there be more of the Rams issue, which we talked about offline? Will it become like games where, like, let's say, will Clippers Sacramento suddenly become a Sacramento home game? Because everyone's like, hey, let's go to LA, see the nice stadium, root for our team. I think that's one of the reasons why the Rams have that problem. The stadium's cool. People want to come check it out. Will you be fighting against? Yeah, I'm curious. I don't think it might not be that bad, but I'm curious if that starts, if you start to, especially once you kind of go for a couple weeks, if you start to feel like, hey, fans are coming because they want to check out the stadium and they're more intrigued with the going to a Clippers game as a road team versus right now, maybe not so much.
There's been more Sacramento Kings fans recently the last 2 years just because they've been good again. But you've heard that at the Laker games, right? They're chanting "Light the Beam" at Laker games.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah, it was interesting. That was Kings, Clippers obviously were there. Kings, Clippers, Warriors, Bulls surprised me because the Bulls suck. So I was like, hey, props to y'all, because there was like, and then New York Knicks, of course. I was very surprised how many New York Knicks. And what was interesting about New York Knicks fans, when I looked at the crowd, I didn't notice how much they outnumbered us. But then when like the Lakers were missing shots, they were cheering, and I'm like, what's going on in this team? What's happening? So yeah, the few of the road teams definitely bring it, no matter what. And I'm curious if this kind of spikes a few of those other ones that are surrounding just a little bit, just because they want to go check out the stadium.
It's hard with basketball just because there's games so frequently during the week, whereas football, you can make a trip out of it on a weekend and stuff.
Yeah, and it's only so many games, and yeah, for sure, that's one of the reasons it happens in for the Rams and Chargers, because yeah, it's you know, you live in a cold weather city, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, let's make a road trip, go to the game, check out LA, you know, be somewhere warm, watch our team, beautiful stadium, all that kind of stuff factors in. But we'll see. That's a September kind of conversation, but I'm excited to check it out and see more of it as we see more information on it once we actually have events happening. Right now, it's still like in that pre-space right there. All right, so moving on to Team USA basketball. I know, Dime, you've been a big proponent of, I don't watch preseason, I don't watch your little basketball showcase. So I'll kind of take the lead here. I wish you did, though, because man, it's been rough. It's been rough. We'll start off with the South Sudan game. Obviously, 100 to 101 USA inked it by, because the GOAT had to bail him out again. He put on that American flag. That's right. He put on that American
LeBron's your
flag.
GOAT? Is it finally Edwin coming out with it?
No, I don't think so. But he's got a case. I don't like the GOAT talk. And I think Kareem deserves more attention in that. I think LeBron's in the conversation for sure, but I think it's LeBron, Kareem, Jordan, you know, and then, like, I don't know, maybe a dominant big in there. You want to put Wood in there, you want to put something like that. I'm not sure. But he was doing GOAT stuff for sure. It was crazy time. I mean, he really stepped up at the end. And he put the team on his shoulders. I was very curious what they were going to do in that final possession, because right before that, Sudan hit a corner three over LeBron. Actually, he tried closing out, but you know, they hit it, and then it went from a 2-point game to a down one. And I'm like, I wonder what Kerr's going to drop. And it was LeBron bringing the ball up. They had Curry and AD on the opposite side. It looked like they were going to try to do like a double drag screen or something, but then like it just didn't. If you would watch the play, it just kind of broke down interesting to me, and they ended up just clearing up space for him. And then, you know, LeBron just he put the foot down, as you've seen him do, is kind of one-on-one. The Sudan had help near the rim, but you know how it is. If you don't help enough, I mean, he still had a one-on-one contest, and it's like you just look like you clamped on him, and closed out, layup, went in. They were up 1, only a few seconds left, and they weren't able to score. They had one more good look at it. I think they had like 8 seconds left, and Sudan did have a 3-pointer they missed, and they had a couple bunnies they tried to like frantically toss at the rim, and ultimately AD got the defensive rebound and ended it. Dime, for me, the main thing here was, again, another bad Embiid game. That's been concerning. And, I think it says a lot. Again, LeBron, he was voted best player, an anonymous straw poll from the players on the team. He was the one who took the last shot. He was the one who made the decisions. I wouldn't be shocked if he would have passed it if someone was wide open, but nobody was. So he did it. And yeah, it's just exhibition, so it wouldn't have mattered too much, but you don't want to lose any of these games. You see Kobe's got a perfect record in Team USA, and a lot of legends are like, 26-0, 36-0, 15-0. You don't want to have any losses, even in exhibition. And it was a tough game. Shout out to Wenyan Gabriel and South Sudan. They got a lot of people were making jokes, and as you know, I'm not one of those. I definitely think USA is still the king, but I'm like the king around other teams that are not actually that far away. And for those people who are like, how is this possible? How could South Sudan, beat LeBron and Curry and all them? Again, you can't get Embiid got in trouble for saying you can't get drawn in by the star names, but I think the reason he got in trouble for that was because he said they were old and stuff like that. And it's like, dude, you're the crappiest player in the starting 5. Maybe you should be quiet. But I think the point he does make is Curry and AD and LeBron and Embiid, they don't have experience and chemistry working together. I think if they would have been serious about this for like 4 years, oh yeah, they would wax them. They would have so much chemistry, knowing who goes in, who goes out, lineups, all that kind of stuff. It's hard to just try to make this team up, even with the talent, and say we're going to beat a Germany team that's had continuity for 4 years. We're going to beat an Australian team that's got continuity for 4 years. We're going to beat a Greece team that's got continuity for 4 years. These teams don't do this willy-nilly. They're serious about this. They're serious about the FIBA World Cup. They're developing it. They're careful about their call-ups. They think about it. They organize. They strategize. They take this serious just like the soccer teams do. And this is what America does. It's impressive they get it done. But what America does, it's kind of like if Brazil didn't play any games and said, let's just call up our guys who are the best. They've never played together. And let's just 11v11. In soccer, that'd be a disaster. It would be like, wow, there'd be no chance. Even with all the top talent, if you've never had any games, you cannot just do 4 games and then go to the World Cup and win the World Cup. It would be the dumbest idea. The federation would get fired for any federation. Argentina, Germany, it'd be like, what kind of plan was that? You didn't even try, right? So USA has gotten so much talent. They're able to kind of do that. And again, these players they played professional, right? It's not like they don't play, but I think that's why these games are so competitive. Germany's got players that have been together for so long. South Sudan doesn't have that kind of experience, but they do have that pride. They do have that focus, and they brought it. Wenyan Gabriel's an NBA player. He's played with the Lakers. He's not scared of guarding AD. He might not be the best in the world, but he's one of the best in the world. Top 800, top 500, wherever you have him, he's up there. And on any given night, that little bit of courage, little bit of the rhythm start and go for you. Next thing you know, hey, you look just as good. He looked better than Embiid, to be honest. So that's what happened there. Dime, do you have any comments or anything about that game? I know you probably saw at least a few of the clips there.
Yeah, LeBron closing things out, showing his seniority, showing how great he can still be. It feels like LeBron, Steph, and KD, when he comes back, are the 3 players that I'm most comfortable with in certain situations. In most situations, I'd say more than anyone else, because they are the experienced old guard. And in LeBron and KD's case, they've played in multiple Olympics. Steph hasn't, but it's Steph Curry, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas Tatum and Ant, I think their tendency to play ISO heavy, pound the ball, defense facing them. I mean, Ant does get to the basket, but I don't know. I think the basketball IQs of KD, LeBron, and Steph, they just give me more confidence.
Yeah.
But I'm just interested to see how it all plays out when it counts. I'm extremely interested to see it. That this collection of talent, the most talent we've had on the team since 2012, undoubtedly for an Olympic team. And it's just so many stars. I'm excited to see LeBron and Steph play together in a competitive setting. So bring it on. And I will be watching every game and be commenting on them. Maybe going live after USA games. We shall see.
Yeah, no, it's going to be exciting. I'm already nervous because not only they have that game, the game before was also nervous time. They won a 92-88 against Germany. That was very close time. They were down by 4, up by 2, down by 3. The final 2 minutes, you did not know for sure USA was going to win. They were in control, but they were up by like 3 points, I think. So you were like, well, we were like one bad three and a turnover away. And again, it was LeBron James. He had, I think the let me see if I can pull up Mike Trudell, Lakers reporter. He had like a really nice documentation of the sequences because he really, again, he had to pull off. Here it is. With 4:08 left to play, it was 82-81. USA was down by 1. LeBron scored the final 11 points for USA. He had a defensive rebound, then he had a dunk. He had a steal, then a layup, defensive rebound, 2 free throws, a 3, and a layup. 92-88, USA wins. So, I mean, that's getting it done. That's saying, hey, I'm going to just take, and again, I'm not here just to like, oh, they got it. I'm trying to get USA to win. I'd much rather us talk about, hey, we blew them out by 20. You know, LeBron had 20, Curry had 21, AD double. Like, let's get out of here. That's not the case. I mean, they're in like these nail biters. It's, like, I mean, LeBron's used to it as a Laker, just kind of, okay, I guess I just got to do everything. He still doesn't have enough help, I guess. But that's the concern. And yes, I agree with you about Ant, especially. I don't think it was this game. I think it was the South Sudan game. There was a moment they were down by like 12. He got the ball top of the key, dribble. He tried to blow past the guy. He couldn't. Fade away at the free throw line, missed. And I'm like, what are you doing, dude? We're down 15. We need easy buckets. We don't need you isoing into a free throw shot that you missed. It just, I'm not a guy who just says it's got to be 3s and 2s, but I'm like, that wasn't a good look. Like, you didn't even get any separation. You just like chucked the ball. And then we missed it. And they went over, they scored. I'm like, you know, this is bad. And yes, they won in the end. But those are the kind of things that are concerning looking ahead at who can you trust. You definitely can trust LeBron. You know you can trust Curry. You know you can trust KD, like you mentioned. I think Bam and AD also are 2 players you can trust because they play defense, they get the rebounds, and they're good on offense. After that, that's not. I don't have too much trust beyond there. But that does give me 4 or 5 players that I trust. So you just have to figure out what's going to happen with the guards and then what the starting lineup is going to be. Because Embiid did look a lot better. He had his best game against Germany. He hit some good shots too in the fourth quarter. I'm like, okay, cool. He also got beat a few times, especially with someone like Dennis, who is just so fast on the perimeter for Germany. He was giving a lot of the USA players trouble because, as you know, Dennis, he was a Laker before. He's a really fast guard. And he, you know, just like Wenyen Gabriel, he does not care about that dream team crap. He's like, hey, man, I play these guys all the time. I think he probably thinks he's better than a few of them even now. So he brings that energy, and he brought it on both ends of the floor. He was giving Curry some trouble. Curry had a bad shooting game against Germany. And, you know, these are the kinds of things that, again, it's not single elimination because it's a group stage game. But, you know, as the stakes get higher, it doesn't take much to not win the gold medal. You just need to have a bad game at the wrong time. So, and we're going to start this week, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited.
All right, cool. So heading off to Paris now, that's where things are going to go. Want to kind of preview things, a few things for everyone to kind of keep in mind. Dime, are we going to focus on all 4 USA teams or just 3? Or what's your thought process here for the pod?
What's the 4th?
So we have the USA men's 5-on-5, USA women's 5-on-5, and the USA men's women's 3x3.
Oh, I forgot men's 3x3 is a thing too.
If you want, we can just ignore it. Maybe we can have a conversation after, because for obviously the women is just the pride of the women because we don't have any Sparks players on the main team. So we're just doing that kind of for the culture. The USA men's, we do have a couple Lakers now. There aren't any Clippers because you know what happened with Kawhi. And then with the women's, we have Hamby taking care of stuff with the 3x3 team. So that's cool. We were supposed to have Brink, but again, she got injured, but Hamby replaced her. So do you want to talk about Jimmer Fredette and the men's 3x3?
Jimmer Fredette. It sounds like we're back in the playgrounds of my school days back in, you know, like 5th or 6th grade, I think.
I really don't think they're going to win the gold. Last year, I'll just give a quick little recap on 3x3 and then we'll kind of jump into the other ones. 3x3 is fairly new in terms of being recognized by the Olympics. The first time they were actually an Olympic sport was the last Olympics at Tokyo, and this is the second time. So it's still kind of new. As most people know, 3x3 is kind of continue to grow FIBA started some tournaments, and then Ice Cube did the Big Three, and that's kind of built up a lot of interest into it. And then there's different tournaments all over. Red Bull does a bunch of stuff, and then with the Olympics making it an official sport, that means all countries were like, oh, chance to get a medal here. And next thing you know, a lot of interest kind of conjured up in it. And I think, again, part of the USA basketball's problem is they need to get people more invested. They just tried to get some random guys last time, and they didn't even make the Olympics. They didn't even qualify. This year, they barely qualified. But again, they got players like Jeremy Fredette. So it's not like, I really wish they just put some NBA players on it and said, hey, do you want this responsibility? This is a commitment. Like, let's do it. I don't know, because I don't think they're going to win it this year for the same reason they didn't make it last year. While the women's, it is pretty much a serious group. They've been working together. They got Haley Van Lith, Jerica Hamby, Ryan Howard, and I forget the fourth player, because there's 4 players for the women's and the men's Team USA squads. Here, let me pull up the name here. They have a bit of a veteran player as their third option, or their fourth option, actually. Depending on how they start things, they have Sierra Burdick. There we go. So that's the 4 there. So those are the 4 teams. So if you want, we'll leave the men to the side unless people start asking for it, and we can just do the men, women's, and then the women's 3x3.
Let's do that.
Okay, cool. No Dreamer for dead. I got you. All right, so we'll only preview the first couple games because we'll actually be on the pod on probably Tuesday. So that means we just really got to preview Sunday, Monday. And the hours are a little nutty. Obviously, they're in Paris, so things are more prime for that time zone. Luckily, it's not like Tokyo. I had to wake up like at 3 a.m. for some of those games to cover them. So we don't really have things that late or that early, or that kind of ridiculous times. But there's a few that, you might have to check your local listings. And also, the times I'm going to give you are West Coast. So if you're East, it's a 3-hour time difference. So keep that in mind. Check your local listings. The good news is everything's going to be available on I believe it's, let me give you the official site. Everything's streaming on it's going to be streaming on where is it at?
NBC Sports.
Yes, NBCOlympics.com and Peacock. And then certain games are going to have the national TV spotlight. And that one, you have to check your local listings. Things like NBC, of course. I think USA is going to have USA Network's going to have a few of those games, stuff like that. But everything's going to be available on Peacock, and everything's going to be available on NBCOlympics.com. So you don't need a subscription for the NBC Olympics feed. You might need one for Peacock. I haven't checked if they're letting that be all just free. You need to create an account. But with NBC Olympics, you don't need anything. You can just literally Google that, and you'll find the stream you're looking for. So that's the good news. It's going to be easily available. And then it just depends on how you want to watch it and what you have as options. All right, so here's the schedule, at least for the first couple games. Obviously, we're going to have the ceremonies before that. And then Sunday, we got USA Serbia. They played exhibition, but now it's for real. USA Serbia Dime. What do you got happening for the men's 5-on-5 USA Serbia first game?
I think it's going to be a win, but it's going to be a tough one. I'm thinking single digits, but more than 2 possessions. So anywhere between 9 and 7 points. Jokic is going to be tough. I mean, that's a pretty good team, right? I mean, who else is on it? Bogdanovic.
Yeah, I watched the game recently, but
Nikola Jovic.
I think that I think they're going to take care of business. I think you're probably right, but I honestly think I think they'll be a little sharper than that. I think they'll be up by double digits for most of the game, and the final couple minutes it'll get to that 8-7 mark, because there'll be like a 6-point spurt. But I think we'll go into the fourth quarter being like, it's over. They're up by 15. They got this. And then it'll shrink down because it's the fourth quarter. So that's my prediction for Sunday's game. All right. After that, we have Monday, the USA women's against Japan. That's a 12 o'clock start. Dime, who you got here?
Us, of course. And I think it's going to be a commanding victory. It's going to be cool to see all these ladies play together just in the same way as the men. It's going to be absolutely insane. I don't think the world has made as much progress yet in the women's game as the men's in terms of basketball. So I think our advantage is still so great. And what a team we have for the USA women. I want to say one thing about the men. I'm excited to see Jokic, and I'm also excited to see a lot of these other teams too. I know this is basketball in Figueroa, and Figueroa is in LA, and LA is in the United States, but Australia, Spain, first game to kick it all off. That'll be fun. Germany's got a solid squad. You got Bass won Figueroa, Rui Hachimura playing for
Yeah,
Japan.
Japan. Yep.
That matters. So that should be fun. And then France, Brazil. I mean, Rudy Escar-Gobert, Victor Wembanyama.
Oh, I can't wait. I love my Rudy slander, so I can't wait to watch him.
That's something that we both really, really can agree on. But also, Bass won Figueroa, Nicholas Batum back in Los Angeles.
That's right, the Batum Battalion. I mean, France is a good squad. They got some good players.
Bilal
and Wemby, obviously, scary.
Exactly. Bilal Coulibaly, Frank Ntilikina, Gershon Yabusele, Evan Fournier, Nando De Colo. I mean, these are some names. How about Marcelo Huertas, legendary Laker Marcelo Huertas on the Brazil team still?
Yeah, we got Puerto Rico. I'm half Puerto Rican, so I'll be kind of rooting for them a little bit. I don't think they'll go far, but shout out to them.
Shout out to Carlos Arroyo, absolutely.
I saw that game.
Huh?
I saw that game in real time. Not at the stadium, but I was like watching on TV the way we're gonna watch the games. I couldn't believe it. I did. I'll be honest. I don't think I knew who Carlos Arroyo was then. I'm like,
really?
He's an NBA player. I'm like, yeah, he's like a backup for whatever. I'm like, and he was just like, I mean, So I watched that game and I was like, I can't believe USA is gonna lose. This is crazy. Puerto Rico's not even like, come on, man. Like, don't we own them? Like, what's going on? And he's there just crossing them over. It was crazy. And then after the game, Tim Duncan, AI, they gave him his flowers. They're like, hey, he's an NBA player. Like, like you might not know him like that, but we know him, and we're not shocked. And so I was like, this is crazy. Yeah,
Tremont Waters and Jose Alvarado for Puerto Rico, and then
Alvarado, yep.
So and then Greece, you got Giannis, and then of course, by the way, a lot of familiar names on Greece. Actually, you got Nick Kolathis. Remember him from the Memphis Grizzlies back in the day? Kostas Papanikolaou, famous bust from the Kings. Georgios Papagiannis. I think Papagiannis was the bust from the Kings. And then dude, these names are hilarious. The Greek, you gotta love the Greek last names. You just gotta love them. There's so many P's, so many K's in there. You got Giannis, of course, and then how about Canada's team? Kelly Olynyk, Dwight Powell, Kem Birch, Trey Lyles, Jamal Murray, Dylan Brooks, Lou Dort, SGA, Nikhil, Andrew Nembhard, RJ Barrett. Like, that's a squad. It's a little weak in the front court. But yeah, next game, my bad. Just wanted to give people some context.
No, for sure. Okay, and then the final one we're going to talk about is on Tuesday, which we'll probably do a pod that night. Into the morning, 8:30 a.m., USA 3x3 women's versus Germany. Dime, I think we're going to have the women's winning here, but I'm telling you, be careful with 3x3. 3x3 is tough. 3x3 is tough. So who do you got here?
Are there any WNBA players on Germany 3-on-3?
Great question. I don't think so, but let me see if I can pull that up. But yeah, 3x3.
I'm still going with us. Yeah.
The reason 3x3 is so tough is because there's just the margin for error you have is like nothing. Just a quick little kind of information on it is that it's 3x3, so it's 3 players on 3 players. It's half court. It's first to 21, and it's 10-minute game period, and the clock's ongoing. Unless it's like an out of bounds or a foul, the clock does not stop. So all it takes is one team getting hot real quick, and next thing you know, you're not going to have time to recover. It's one game. It's not best of 3. No, it's just one game. It's literally a 10-minute game, and it's done. So you can lose very easily. If a player gets hot from 3 and gets a couple possessions going, you might be done. And that's what makes it so difficult. It's so fast paced. It's really intense, and it's one of the reasons why some people don't expect USA to win. USA does have continuity there a little bit more. I think 3 of the 4 have kind of played together in I think the America Cup and FIBA World Cup. So it's not a group of random 4 women who haven't worked on it, but the rest of the world is also really focused on this one. I think it's one of those medals that people see as a chance they can win. So I think other countries have definitely been like, hey, we're going to have these 4 or 5 girls for 4 years. We can win this. And Team USA lost one of the group stage games last time, but they didn't lose anything else, and they came out with the medal. It was a little dicey. I remember watching those games. I covered those games. It was close. So keep an eye out for that. Dime, if you can, watch them live, and you'll see it. It's hard to even tweet because it's literally a 10-minute span, and it's just boom, 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 and it's done. So it's definitely a fun watch, but it's an intense one. So I feel like they're still going to get it done. The USA men's team, I also feel like it's going to get it done in terms of the gold medal. The women's 5-on-5, I'm not worried about, but I'm nervous about these men. I'm nervous. If we lose this one, then we're not going to beat the world's caught up allegations. That's it. It's a wrap. They caught up. If we can't get this one, they caught up. And I don't want to live in that world. So I hope they at least win this one so we can push that narrative another 4 years. Then they'll be here in LA. We'll win that one, and then we'll see what happens there. But it's nervous time because they needed LeBron. It's not a good sign. Again, just like with the Lakers, it's not a good sign that LeBron has to do that. It's not a good sign. We should be like chilling and winning by at least double digits and a little calm here. But no, they needed him to be his best self to win an exhibition game against Germany and South Sudan. So I don't know. We'll see. It's gonna be interesting.
I think. Oh, also we got to give a shout out, Basketball and Figueroa, China for the women's. Li Ru representing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. She left early for again another example of that. Right. She left early from her WNBA assignments to be with her Chinese team and focus on it. So again, a lot of countries, they take this stuff really serious for basketball too. So we got that to kind of tackle on just in general.
Also, the Australian team, pretty good squad. They got Stephanie Talbot, obviously, LA Spark, Basketball and Figueroa, but also Lauren Jackson, Beck Allen from the Mercury, Sammy Whitcomb from the Seattle Storm, and Ezzy. Yep. I mean, Alana Smith's having a hell of a year with Minnesota. Like, this team is pretty serious, honestly.
Yeah, Canada's got Kia Nurse, too. She'll be there. Another Spark. So there's quite a few representation on the women's side. It's gone a little more international, but it's still got some ways to go.
Is Satu playing in the Olympics? Have we gotten an answer there? She is.
Yeah,
really.
She played an exhibition game, I believe, earlier today. Yeah.
So she's going to be back for the Wings when the season resumes.
Yep.
All right, I'm excited.
They said that before, and it's confirmed now because they said she'll be back by Olympic time after the Olympics, and now she's playing in the Olympics. So also that's also been an interesting thing. Sorry to cut you off, but like in the W, that happens a lot too, where years ago there have been players who missed the WNBA season to prep for the Olympics. They're like, that's how serious we're taking it. They don't want me. They said I can't do it if I'm here, so I'm choosing to not play there. That happened before. It didn't really happen this year, but like I said, they take it serious, and there's some countries that are like, I need you to be here. So
my last thing was Kia Nurse as well for the Team Canada. That's wishing her the best as well. So
yeah, all right, fantastic. So lots of stuff. Also, we didn't mention it, but LeBron is going to be holding the flag.
Yeah, I'm happy about that. Congrats to him. It's great to see a men's basketball player. And there's honestly, let's really talk about it. There's no bigger American athlete that's representing us in the Olympics than LeBron James. There's not. It's a great farewell for him. There's no Michael Phelps anymore. I mean, there's no one really in the discussion for me. No track runner, no anybody.
I mean,
and LeBron?
No, okay, not compared to LeBron, but there's a couple. If it wasn't LeBron, I have a few like Biles maybe could have done it or something like that. There's a few people.
But we're talking male though, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, male. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, male.
But even then, and I think Simone Biles is absolutely legendary and goated in her profession. But this is LeBron James we're talking about. Basketball is just a bigger, wider thing.
Yeah, the basketball goat. We agree.
No. Simone Biles, but do you think I'm saying, do you think LeBron James is a bigger star worldwide than Simone Biles?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
No disrespect, of course. Simone Biles is absolutely legendary.
Yeah, they're both legends. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I'll definitely be watching the opening night ceremonies, checking that out, seeing getting the Olympic spirit, seeing the torch, get all that stuff, and then we're gonna have some basketball. So we'll be back most likely Tuesday night. We'll see maybe Monday, but probably Tuesday, and we'll recap those couple games, see how things are looking, and take it from there. We're gonna switch off to Olympic mode and just kind of seeing, can the USA continue to claim it is the mecca of basketball by beating the best at basketball when it matters most. We can all agree this is a big moment. So let's see. We got our men's teams, we got our women's teams. Let's see what happens. So interesting to see how it goes down. So we'll see. So that'll conclude the end of episode 36 of Basketball and Figueroa. Once again, I am Edwin Garcia. That was /is Dar-E-N Viziri. aka Dime Dropper, and we out.